going to college and what you're looking forward to with your college career, your collegiate career?
My college career, I'm really just looking at having fun, doing what I love doing, making plays, of course. I mean, just playing ball, really. I mean, take what comes with it. I just love football. I know I always wanted to play football at the college level, so that's fun for me, and I'm really just looking to take one step at a time and trust the process, really.
Yeah, so we'll go into the high school. So how was it? Because at high school it was different. Your 9th grade to 12th grade, y'all had a dramatic change. You know what I mean? Y'all wasn't that good in the beginning, and then So how did that change? What were the key factors that changed y'all from being a state championship team, not being a state championship team, to being a state championship team?
It started with ourselves. I feel like everybody really had to mentally prepare themselves that offseason. Like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to work hard all this offseason to get better and get to where we want to go. And I think a big fact also is Coach O, we had a coach that trusted in us. Before the first day of some workouts, he wrote out the plan, the exact plan that was going to happen, the playoffs, who was going to play. And that really happened. So when we was going through, it was pretty much like this our destiny. So we just bought into what he was saying. And that whole offseason, we just worked hard every day and believed that nobody's working harder than us, and everything just fell through.
And I want to hit on, and the reason I asked you the question because I was leading into something, and it's leadership. And with that, you guys being young, your 9th grade year, it reminds me of when I went to Temple. My 9th grade year, you have to create a new system. You know what I mean? It's people that are in place that they may not be on the same path. They're the seniors on the team. You know what I mean? They're supposed to be the leaders, but they're not doing things the right way. And sometimes you got to weed those guys out. And then once you weed those guys out, and then as you guys grew and grew up to juniors and seniors, that's when you seen the change. And then y'all start playing at a high level. And I want to get into playing ball, because I remember I never used to want to be hard on you. Because I knew you had, us two that played at a high level in high school football, and I never wanted to make you feel like you had to follow in our footsteps. You know what I mean? So how did you take a liking, or how did you fall in love? Do you think you found a love for the game through watching us play, or just because that's what you wanted to do?
Definitely. I can remember being younger at Eddie's games, at your games. Every time I would see what y'all doing, I'm gonna go on the field after the game, get a water bottle in my hand. I'm gonna try to do the same thing y'all doing. And just stuff like watching y'all shake people, dive into the end zone. That was always the coolest thing to me. Yeah. And I remember early on, I'm always watching y'all games. Y'all film before my games, trying to get prepared. And y'all was always my motivation, because at the end of the day, I simply want to be better than my big brothers. And that's just always was one of my goals, you feel me? And that pushed me to my best, I feel.
Yeah, so and it's all coming back. This is what I'm getting to. So the leadership he had in his life, the people he had to look up to, that's what we're trying to do with our platform we have here. We're trying to put positive role models in the life of these young men. So the same example that Jyron just gave, he was able to see, what he wanted to do. He had somebody to look up to and to guide him in the path. And, we were vocal with Jyron a lot too, but we led by example. We were actually in action doing the things that, the path that he's walking down now, he's seen us do it. And, he's able to walk in that path and have someone to come back and talk to. So that's the platform that we're building here. We want to be able to shine light on all these young men that we're dealing with, and have a platform where you can reach out to us, ask questions, and receive feedback. We can point you into the right direction on everything you want to do. So, with Jyron, I'm happy for you, bro. I'm ready to see you on your journey. You're starting a big journey right now. Now, college is a serious, you're going to go through emotions from your freshman to senior year that you're not going to know, but it's going to make a man out of you. It's going to be the best years of your life. And, I'm proud of you, bro.
Appreciate you.
I mean? I just want you to have a successful career, be the best you can be up there. As long as you stay committed and selfless as you do all these things we talk about on here, bro, and you lock in and you just be the best player you can be every day, it's going to be a breeze for you. So just transitioning, just going it back. So we want to, right now we're dealing, in the day and age where we're talking about, both police brutality, and we do have two fathers here. And I just want to ask you two, and either one of you can answer. It don't matter. I want to hear from both of you though. So what, in this day and age, what things do you think is important, for other fathers to know when it comes to, having these conversations with your kids, or just making sure your kids are doing the right thing, or when it comes to when they get in contact with law enforcement, or, just being an outstanding young man?
I'll go ahead. The one thing as fathers we have to understand is that we have to be great teachers, and our children have to be aware what goes or how things go. You know, life is not going to always be fair. You're not going to get the same shape that everyone else gets. People are not going to be treated the same. But in that same aspect, you have to know how to handle yourself in certain situations. So there, especially with the police brutality, we understand that as African American, as black men, the odds are that it's not going to work out in our favor. So therefore, I have to handle myself in such a way that even when I'm pulled over, I have to handle myself in such a way that you learn how to handle yourself in that same situation. So, you know, we have to understand that the victories aren't won on the side of the road. So you're not going to win that battle. It's not going to come out in your favor. So you have to handle yourself in such a way to get through that situation. And if there's an injustice, we have to handle it in the courts. We have to all of these things. So when I'm pulled over, the first thing I do is I make sure that I have all of my things. I have my I's dotted, my T's crossed, and I'm not going to give this officer a particular reason to get sideways with me. So, and most times it doesn't get to that point where there's going to be a time where it seems like somebody is going to come with the attitude that they're better than you, and they want to show you that. They want to show you their authority. So the first thing I'm going to do is respect the authority that you have with that badge. I may not want to respect that. Yes, honestly, you know, with everything going on in the world today, especially in the hindsight of the George Floyd situation, all the protests and all that, it should be in the back of every father's mind that, you know, his son leaving home could be the last time that he see him. You know, all of these things, you know, especially what really hit me was with the Ahmaud Arbery situation. You know, him jogging, you know, when I saw him jogging and the things that took place, I thought about, because you all work out all the time, you all run and all that stuff. And so that hit home with me. And so, as a father, I feel it's my responsibility, to show you guys how to handle yourself in certain situations. Because the situation, life is not set up or the system is not set up to work in your favor. So therefore, there are certain battles that you fight, and then there are certain battles that you just have to walk away from and diffuse it and just wait till the next time. So therefore, you know, I felt it's been my responsibility to even help show you all how to handle yourself when you're pulled over in a traffic stop. That we all know that all cops are not bad cops, but sometimes you may run into that particular policeman or policewoman that just wants to show or try to make you feel that they're better than you are. So if it's showing yourself how to handle yourself during a traffic stop, if that's going to that's going to save your life, I feel that as a father, it's my duty to make sure that you know how to handle yourself. And we know that certain things can frustrate us, but even in the midst of our frustrations, we have to remain cool sometimes to live to fight another day. So as a father, I felt that that's been my responsibility, first and foremost, to be a good example of that. But then also to have you all to know that sometimes it's better to live to fight another day. And you may feel disrespected. You may feel that someone's tried to make you feel less than, but living is better than trying to be a big dead man with big pride. So all of those things we have to understand. And even as Eddie with children, you know, we all know that we have to be there, or we want to be there for our children. So him being dead or being in jail is not going to help his children during their time growing up.
Yeah, so you answered that too, you know, being a black having a black son.
Pop's response was, you know, pretty much the same as mine. I think, again, we knew back then my attitude wasn't the best, but again, that's where, you know, that self-assessing and just that mindset, I think, you know, maturity just showed me, you know, for myself at that point, I didn't want to end up in a situation where I couldn't do or be with my family. And now, you know, having kids, the same thing. You know, I definitely want to be there. So I have to know how to handle myself accordingly. As well as, like Pop said, you know, being able to show Q, my son being all the kids, but definitely him being a black male, definitely have to teach him the way to handle himself is when he's dealing with when he's in that situation, knowing what things to say and what things not to say. Again, as a father, I think one thing that what I learned, the mothers are the nurturers and the fathers are the teachers. And again, that's just something that I've learned as growing up. That's just something that Pop's always done, and he's always taught us the right way. And those same attributes and those same lessons I plan on teaching, my kids as well. So, what his response was a very good response.
So, all right, we want to dig a little deeper back into the Father's Day thing with your dad. So we want to dig into, your relationship with granddad. Jim Gilmore, my grandfather. It's funny because I always hear people talk about my granddad, and I had one. I ain't gonna say funny, but it was a good experience with I had a lot of good experiences with him, but one that just stick to me when I went with granddad in the summer and worked with him over the summer. So my granddad, he does what you call that? Masonry. So all the concrete and all that hard labor. So I went out there to work with my granddad, and I'm thinking like, okay, I'm going to make some money. It's about to be a breeze. Like it's about to be all good. You're gonna make sure I'm straight. Man, that man made me earn every penny. Every penny. It wasn't no slouching. It wasn't nothing. It was so funny. Like he just treated me like I was, at that time I was in like 7th grade, but he treated me like I was an adult at that time. Like when it came to making my lunch before, to go to work in the morning, he didn't even come in there and wake me up, like knock on the door. Now I used to get, if you hear that truck crank up, he hit it. If you're not outside, he's gone. So it was just little things like that. And I had, I had great times like that with granddad. So I just want to get into y'all relationship, you and his relationship growing up, and then going back to us. How that helped you raise us.
Yeah, like I said before, my father, your grandfather, he's always been a working man. He's been a provider. All of those things. So even with that, him being a provider and him teaching us that nothing or no one comes before your children. He also had a soft side because when him and I grew up, him being a big man, he always said, I love you, and he always said that. So even now we say that every day, so that's a part of our everyday vernacular. So, there was also a soft side to him, but also, me being able to look at our relationship, he, like I said, his mother, my mother and him, they were never married. So he wasn't in the same household as I was, but so there was always a part of him that I didn't have. So that part that I didn't have, what I desired to have, I made sure you all didn't miss that. So, every generation has to evolve. So, as I grow or I make the relationship that we have better than the relationship that him and I have, I only ask that you all have a better relationship with your children than we have. And in our minds, we may say, man, how can it get better? We that's just the way it was. And there were times that him and I, or I didn't see eye to eye with him, but by him being my father, that's not my right to correct. I always had respect for him. I never disrespected him. It was just that thing. In my mind, there were certain times that he wasn't able to be there. That I felt as we say now, some type of way. I wasn't going to allow you all in. I was going to make sure that I'm there for every the problem that my mother and him had, whatever reason that they didn't make it. That wasn't my fault. So and neither did any one of them try to make it my fault. But I just didn't want you all to feel those things.
It's funny though, because when we were young and granddad came around, you already knew what time it was. He about to drop something on you. He came, and even to this day, it's funny seeing my little brother experience with my granddad, and because like my dad said, he's a provider, and he always makes sure everybody's all right. And when my little brother just graduated, Jyron just graduated, he got blessed. I told him, all right, you 18 now, you better hold on to that blessing. Hey, he don't really come back when you get of age. You know what I mean? He raised you up, the way to he feel that you you need to flap your own wings at that point. So that's just my granddad. But nah, Dad. So going into our, still trying to dig deeper and get more, so people could see our relationship, how we grew over time. There wasn't, you are a pastor, Pastor Gilmore, the Union Missionary Baptist Church in Denellen, Florida. You weren't always a pastor, like you said. You had kids young, and I vividly remember our experiences. The experiences we touched on. Having one car, having a kid, having to wake up early in the morning when you going, when you're going to work. Me and Eddie got to get in there. We got our covers in the back. Ride and then come on back home to go back to sleep. But those are the things we had to do at that time, to get to where we at now. And saying that and seeing where we at now, just me, I give on there and give thanks to God, for bringing us just a long way. And I remember one big key moment is we got baptized together. So was that your first time getting baptized?
No, actually, it was my second, and it was I was baptized as a child at Watula Baptist Church in Ocala, and I just at that particular time there was something, it was just Eddie had already been baptized. And it was time that I felt that was something that we can share together. And although I would say that my walk with God wasn't where it should have been, it wasn't on the progression that but that was something that can never be taken away from us. In my real spiritual journey, I've always been aware of the place that God should hold in your life, and as I matured, I realized that God had been dealing with me even from a young age. He had been speaking to me, but as I matured and I really dedicated and I submitted myself to Christ, then when that took off, everything changed. And I often tell everybody that of course I wasn't there when Eddie was born, but just the pregnancy that we experienced with you as compared to Jyron, the main difference was that Christ was in our life. We were both following Christ, and everything was just so smooth with that because we had the stability, not only the spiritual but the mental and the psychological stability of Christ being in your life, and it was just so much. It just seemed so much easier when Jyron was born, and there was tough times there, but just having Christ in your life, it just makes so many things easier. Yeah, okay, all right. Well, we don't have all this extra money, but you know what? Our bills are paid. So we may not be able to go out and eat steak this week, but you know what? We're going to enjoy these beanies and weenies just like the steak, and then so if nothing else, we'll just get microwave popcorn and sit in front as a family and have movie time. So those things, we shared the little things together. And so I think that was one of the great things with our spiritual journey, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Okay. And even before that, so even before getting saved and all that, do you think there was you were raising us differently, or do you think you still held the same principles then and after?
No, I to say that I didn't raise you differently, there were certain principles that I instilled in you and Eddie even from the beginning. And you all know now, and everybody say that, oh man, I know it's something special about your sons, because even when they were young, when they walked up to me, they would always look me in my eye and shake my hand. And that's always been something that we practice. Look a man in his eye and give him a firm handshake. So, just things like that. But then once you throw in the spiritual principles of it, and it goes to a different level. So there's always certain things that I've tried to instill in you all as to being a man, as presenting yourself as a man, hard work, dedication, all of these things, and even the things that your mother and I have tried to, especially your mother when it comes to the education level, make sure that you all have doing what you're supposed to do in school. One of the greatest things that we've all always made sure that even the world knows that somebody has your back.
Right.
Somebody has your back.
Right.
So I can remember times that when something went on in school And it may have been times that it was something that we knew that you all did whatever they say you were doing. You did something wrong. You did something that you do. But you know what? I'm going to go. You know, we're going to set up a conference and I'm going to go. I'll never forget one time at Howard Middle School. At Howard Middle School, I went to a conference for Eddie, and it was actually doing good in most of his classes. It was just, I called your mother and I set up a conference to let them know that this particular child is not alone. So you're not going to be able to treat this child any kind of way. You're not going to be able to treat them as if someone doesn't have their back. And I went, and when I went there, the teacher was astonished, and she looked at me, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on with her because I showed up with a shirt and tie. And not only did I show her a shirt and tie, she asked me, well, who are you? I'm his father. And then she'd say, well, are you in the house? Of course I am. What makes you think that I'm not? You know, those things, because they don't expect that for young men, especially African American or black young men. They don't expect them to have a father in the house or two parents in the house. They feel that's a rarity. So there were times that we would expose that. We would expose the structure of our home just so that they would know you're not going to be. And I tell people, well, you know, there were times that they, you know, I may have been, I sheltered you all. It seemed as if I sheltered you all, or I, you know, by being at every practice, I didn't feel like I missed a practice. But that was not only for you all. That was also for the coaches. You know, to know, okay, you know, certain things you're not going to be able to say to Gilmore Rocker. You know, you're not going to be able to say that because that's not going to fly with his dad. And his dad's going to know because he's always here. You know, so you know, when we deal with those things as parents, we have to understand that the world needs to know that your children aren't alone. Somebody has their back. Your children needs to know that they're not alone. You have their back, and when we know that, then we can be bold in our endeavors, and we can strike out on all of the things that we've been taught to do because we know someone has our back.
All right. So when raising us, what were some of the top things you tried to instill in us, like top traits?
Like I said, I'm big on accountability, being accountable, being responsible, hard work, especially in the classroom, and even with football. We've been a football family forever, and I've had arguments with people before because you know, people argue. They say, I often hear people say, what's more important in football or education? Well, for the kid that's playing football to get a scholarship, that's going to pay for the education. At that particular time, football is just as important as the education, because when you get to college, if you miss practice, if you don't do what you're supposed to do on the football field, you're going to lose that scholarship. So, I've taught you all knowing there's a thing that we talked about in football, and it's acronym WIN. What's important now? So at this particular time, what takes precedence in your life? So there may be a time where you say, well, you know what? Now I need to be doing footwork drills in the backyard, you know. But then you know what? Tomorrow at this particular time, I need to be inside studying for that final exam. All of these things, what's important now? So as I instill these things into you, I didn't take away that aspect of football, because football has taken you all to places that you probably would have never went in your life if you didn't play football. So, you know, all of those things, hard work, making sure that you're truthful, being able to confront your failures, being able to accept the fact of, like you say earlier, being comfortable in the skin that you're in. You know, life, you know, sometimes we just deal the hands that we're dealt. And you all of you all have dealt with the fact, especially coming up, you know, people always say, well, man, you short. So what? I'm gonna take this height that I have. I'm gonna take the height that God gave me, and I'm gonna run it down your throat every time. So even the fact that we're African American, we're not gonna be given the same chances. We're not going to be given a fair share like other people may be given. But you know what? I'm going to take what God gave me, and I'm going to take that and use it to the best of my ability. I'm going to show you that I can overcome and be better than that person that has the privilege. You know, I think it was last week you and I were talking, and just talking about the you know, with the resume that you built for yourself. Right. And I was saying that, you know, with the credentials that you have, if you were Caucasian, if you were white, people would be lining up to hire you. You know, they would throw jobs at you. But by being an African American, now you're having to blaze your own path and say, you know what, you're not going to hire me, but one day I'm gonna be in a position where you're going to call me to get information from me. So all of those things, you know, we don't complain about the hand we're dealt. We just play it to the best of our ability.
So it's funny as you're talking. I was thinking about, and I know all three of my brothers, two of my brothers. I know we all had experienced this, having a dad that's a pastor or a preacher, and you know you had that stereotype of that preacher's kids are the worst kids. So it's funny. And I remember one time I was in school. I was up in Illinois, and somehow somebody found out my dad was a pastor. I think it was a Sunday or something. I must have called him. I was chilling with all my friends, and I ended up calling my dad, like, you know, what I usually be like, you know, what it was like, you know, what you preached on today or something in that word. And when I got off the phone, he was like, I didn't know your dad, man, you ain't telling your dad was a pastor? I looked at him like, bro, I don't know what your dad do. Like, you know what I mean? We never had them discussions, so they make it feel like, and I don't know what it is about when you have your dad being a preacher. I mean, I guess you're just supposed to go around just telling everybody so they know not to say stuff around you or whatever that is, and it's just funny to me. Do y'all have any experience?
I always feel like in this generation, it's almost people treat it as not cool as having a good daddy.
Yeah,
like,
it's good, for real.
Yeah, like that's
real.
great.
And that's funny, and that's good that you said that.
That's
John.
crazy.
Why? And that too. I remember when I went off to school, you have people acknowledging or like, my dad tougher than your dad. Like, my dad did 10 years in prison, and that, you know, that's what goes on in our community. And then it's sad when you really sit back and think about it. They have to argue about having a great dad. Like, my dad, you know what I mean? Okay, my dad did in my life. He ain't missing 10 years of my life. You know what I mean? My dad did ever been all in my game. Then you get to tell my dad, whoop your dad. Like, just because your dad been to jail, you gonna whoop my dad. And it's just crazy. Like, so those stereotypes right there, those are things that we gotta change. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? We want to be here for our kids and being present. You know, the kids that may not be fortunate enough to have fathers, you know, we want to be here for them as well. You know what I mean? Us as being black men, you know, we've seen that cycle over and over again. We have friends, we have people that are close to us that, you know, that have their life taken away by the streets. So we want to be here and make it cool to be a dad, to be a great dad, to be in your kid's life. You know what I mean? We already have a stereotype as a black man for that not to be the case. Just how my dad just said, you know, when, you know, a woman was surprised that he was there to be present for his son. You know, we have to change that narrative. We have to change the narrative that, you know, as a community, that all black men, that we're on the line, that we're taking our kids to school on the first day. You know, we're picking them up from school, taking them to their game, you know, picking up and just being that great dad that I know everyone could be. So, you know, I hope y'all just like this conversation that we having today. You know, a lot of people know us, but they probably never dug onto them. We're going to have to do this again, man. We appreciate y'all for coming on. Y'all our first guests, man. Y'all some lucky guys right here on this great podcast. You know, they were able to be our first guest. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed our conversation. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us. And like I said, we have to do this again. We'll review this and look back on our conversation and see if there's some key points that we can touch on to make the conversation and build another conversation.
Or if anybody have any, you know, anything that you want us to touch on, you know, as still being, you know, a family and being men and going, you know, dealing with the things within our community.
Yeah. So I just want to say again, Happy Father's Day, Dad. Happy Father's Day.
Father's Day, man.
I really appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all for everything. For Eddie, you know, I looked up to you growing up as well. Just you a father figure to me as well. You know, I wanted to be like you, just how I want to be like my dad. So, you know, this is what we have right here. You know, this is something beautiful, and not a lot of families have this. You know, a dad-son combo that, you know, we best friends, and
Definitely.
you know, this is gonna take, you know, I'm gonna treat my kids the same manner, and, you know, this is the layout that my dad left here for us. And so again, we appreciate you. And, you know, it's Cut Different Ink, man. We're coming up with a name. We're thinking of a name right now for this podcast. We're going to keep it going. We're going to keep bringing on more and more special guests. And, you know, we hope y'all please like and subscribe to this, you know, to this page. Comment, you know, let's get build a real family around here. You know, we're gonna call it Cut Different Family. And you know, we're gonna keep giving you content. We're gonna keep giving this information for you, and we definitely appreciate the ones that's watching and the ones that are already sharing. You know, it doesn't go unnoticed. We definitely see you out there. So again, to y'all, thank y'all for coming on.
Appreciate you, man.
To the world, man. Thank y'all for viewing, and we'll see y'all next time.
Thank y'all, man.